coming to take control. Extra, read all about it. Evidence coming to take control. Lock and load, steal souls and watch it explode. Dispatch the death squad and watch it go. Serial killers, cadavers, murderous psychos. As the hour goes, it takes the time. Expires as we live dead, revitalized. Surprised by the high with red still in our eyes. The pleasure is all ours to give you the power. This is the maniacal hour.
It is Sunday, October 24th, 2021, and you're tuned into The Blow Off, powered by AppMark Media and presented by the Hameen Media Group at channelattitude.com. On this week's show, we're talking Charlotte versus Becky, the Paul Heyman Show, G1 Finals drama, Bound for Glory, and Tezcatlipoca Loco Copaka. But before we dive in, it's my obligation to remind you this is a podcast by the fans for the fans, bringing you all the news that is news from across the professional wrestling world. Find the show online at theblowofppod.com. My name is Jargo PhD, and that's my man. He's the COVID kid. He's the man down under. He's the GAG from the PWSC. He's my man, Jimmy T. We actually got him out of bed for this show. Jimmy, welcome back to your show.
Did you call me the COVID kid by any chance?
The COVID kid. He's the COVID.
K-I to the D, right? So, I mean, I like it. I like it a lot, man. And yes, I am out of bed, fortunately or unfortunately as it is. But you know what, dude? It's been over 3 weeks and I still cannot shake off this shit properly, bro. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I still cannot shake it off properly, man. It's ridiculous. But other than that, I'm happy to be here, my brother. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. We missed you on Rampage Uncaged this week. It was a great show. It was a great Rampage. Me and Chris sitting down to talk about that one last night, and we're like, where the fuck is Jimmy? Where the fuck is Jimmy? That was the question of the show. Where the fuck is Jimmy? But now here we are. We're blowing it all off. And Jimmy, it's been certainly an interesting week inside of the world of pro wrestling. We do have a little bit of Crown Jewel stuff to talk about, but first we got to talk about SmackDown. We got to talk about SmackDown Live on Fox because there's some shit hitting the fan, Jimmy. I even reached out to some sources to see what kind of shit is hitting what kind of fan, because there's some people that think that this is a work. This is not a work, ladies and gentlemen. From everything that I am hearing, there is legit heat on Charlotte backstage. And Charlotte and Becky, they kind of got into it backstage a little bit. They kind of got into it backstage because Charlotte's a bitch. When I first reached out to my source inside of WWE, and I was like, what is going on with Charlotte and Becky? You know what the text message said that I got back?
What's that?
Charlotte's a bitch.
Oof. You mean sure? You don't mean Sure-Flair?
I mean, I don't know what's going on with Charlotte's appearance right now. And it was so drastic, right? It was just like boom, boom, like week to week, which makes me think that it's a makeup job. I think it's definitely a really, really bad makeup job. Like you can't physically change your appearance that much over the course of a week. But yeah, she does look like Cher right now. But I guess we've seen this before. And kind of the feeling is that Charlotte feels like she's bigger than what's going on inside of the company. And she wants to do things Charlotte's way because Charlotte's way is better than whatever, the creative comes up with and whatever, the people tell her to do, especially if she doesn't like it and it doesn't necessarily cast her in the best light. And so she just decides to go off script. And Becky didn't appreciate that. Evidently, Becky Lynch is a hero, not only to the little boys and girls everywhere, but she's a hero to all the people backstage too. You know why? Because she calls Charlotte on her bullshit. And evidently she did it publicly backstage at SmackDown. Jimmy, the report is Charlotte was escorted from the building by security.
I heard that. And look, this is not the first time these two apparently have had some differences, even though apparently they're best friends, right? Are they not?
Evidently they are not.
Interesting. I think it's Charlotte being frustrated, dude. That's what I think it comes down to. And don't be surprised if she's doing all this just to get out of her contract one way or the other, bro. That's what I'm starting to think it is.
I mean, okay, but if I'm WWE, and I understand that Charlotte might be frustrated, I get that. because I get frustrated when I watch the WWE product too. But Charlotte is not paid to come up with ideas. Charlotte is not paid to think. Charlotte is paid to do whatever she is scripted to do.
Right.
And if Charlotte feels the need to go off of that script and it becomes a train wreck on national television because Charlotte chooses to go off script, you suppose those scripts are going to get better for her? I guess there is some legit heat on Charlotte backstage, and not just from the talent, but from management as well. I've felt like for a while, Charlotte's going to go to AEW. I don't know when her contract is up, but she is going to go. And I think that's probably about the biggest star that AEW could sign that's not named Roman Reigns at this point.
Absolutely.
Is Charlotte as good as gone at this point?
I think she is, man. I've felt that way probably for the last month and a half, dude. You can see it. I mean, didn't she also have a little shoot incident with Nia Jax as well on Raw just a few weeks ago? I mean, clearly she's frustrated, dude.
And she's got a little bit of an attitude problem. Because in case you didn't know, she's Charlotte Flair.
That's right. And I mean, it probably goes back to her old man, what's been going on with that. Obviously with Andrade and AEW. I mean, I think she's as good as gone, dude. I really do think that. But if WWE play their cards right, they can hold on to her, but they got to absolutely give her everything she wants, man.
Okay, but you say if WWE plays their cards right, okay, in the history of professional wrestling, has anybody been pushed harder than Charlotte Flair? Anybody? I mean, that includes Roman Reigns and John Cena. Has anybody been pushed harder than Charlotte Flair?
You know what, dude? Probably not.
I mean, I have a really hard time coming up with anybody. Maybe Paul White. Like Paul White when he debuted in WCW and pinned Hogan like night one to win the championship. Like that's pretty close to where we're at with Charlotte.
You've got a great point because I had to think about it. I really thought about it. I'm thinking, you know what? I don't think there is. I mean, they really give her everything. I mean,
like consistently,
like right?
Years.
But in saying that, sure, they give her the strap all the time, but then they make her look like a fool too. She will lose it and win it again and then lose it. And I mean, she's all over the place right now. I think it's best for all parties in this present time just to go the separate ways. I mean, what's it left for Charlotte to do anyway in WWE now? She's pretty much wrestled everybody. There's nothing much for her to do anymore. I say, why not? Let her go.
I completely agree. Like, I feel like there's nothing left for Charlotte at this point. She's done everything. Literally everything that there is to do. And one thing that Rick doesn't get nearly enough credit for, he always knew when it was time to leave a territory.
100% true. It's true, man. He knew he never outdone his stay. Maybe in WWE he did, but other than that, I mean, yeah, look, I think she should just leave, man. I think it's just best for everybody involved to just go their separate ways. Because right now, not only is she not happy, Becky's not happy. WWE don't know what the fuck to do with either one of these girls right now. I mean, it is what it is, man. It's shocking. It's kind of shocking, dude. I mean, I'm not going to lie. But I can see it. She's going.
Here's the thing, right? When I really sit down and I look at these companies, and the biggest disparity between the AEW roster and the WWE roster is the women's roster, right? Like the women inside of WWE, while like talent level, I think the two rosters are much closer than people actually give them credit for when it comes to AEW. But the star power inside of WWE is so much greater. Like you've got Britt Baker, and she's not nearly as over as like the fifth or sixth person on the WWE women's roster. But as I look at expiring contracts, I could legitimately make a case. Charlotte Flair is definitely going to AEW. Sasha Banks wants to prove that she is the best women's wrestler in the world. That is her mission statement, always has been her mission statement. I really think Sasha Banks ends up going to AEW.
Can you imagine that? Shit.
Now, the third part of this equation is Becky Lynch. No, Jargo, you're crazy. Why would Becky Lynch go? Well, okay, I agreed, but Tyler Black was part of that Ring of Honor generation too.
Thank
If
you.
Seth Rollins were to jump to AEW, is it really so far-fetched that, Rebecca Quinn might want to go with Tyler Black?
Well, Jargo, you hit the nail on the head because you mentioning Tyler Black, aka Seth Rollins, brings up an interesting point because I don't know if you caught his Stone Cold interview on the network.
I did not.
It was pretty interesting, dude. He pretty much asked him, like, Stone Cold pretty much said to Seth, "You've done everything there is in WWE. You've won, multiple championships, intercontinental championships, blah blah blah. You name it, you've won it," which he has, right? He also asked him, "Do you see yourself working as an agent in WWE in the future?" Blah blah blah. He answered, and he answered interestingly. He said, "Look, I don't know if I'll re-sign after my contract. I've still got a few years." No, he didn't say it in those words, but this is what he was clearly implying, right? Like he's basically saying, "I'm not sure if I'm going to sign or not. I could do something else, but right now I'm focused over here." He's still going to be there for the next couple of years, but he's pretty much hinting that he could very well take off to AEW, dude. I mean, that's what the vibe I got off him. And you saying that with Becky Lynch makes total sense because if he goes off to AEW, I can see Becky following right behind him. So, hey, man, I agree. I totally agree with you, dude. That's not actually far-fetched. I think it's something to look out for.
So as I look at contracts that like what I think are like gimmies within the next couple of years, I do expect that you're going to have Kevin Steen on the AEW roster. I do expect Charlotte Flair on the AEW roster. I do expect Sasha Banks on the AEW roster. And I could make a hell of a case for Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch.
Absolutely.
And that's insane to even think about 2 years ago. That this is where AEW would be at this point. That you can even make a case for that to happen.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, AEW is rapidly growing right now in steam, momentum, and as a company as a whole, dude. I mean, they're coming for WWE. And if WWE think they're not competition, well, think again.
So what's the answer from the WWE? The Paul Heyman Show. The Paul Heyman Show, that's what we've got on Friday Night SmackDown. We made the mistake of thinking that this was all about Roman Reigns and the Tribal Chief, that maybe it was about the Beast Brock Lesnar and his triumphant return as a babyface. This is all about Paul Heyman. This entire story is about Paul Heyman. And in a funny way, Jimmy, I feel like Paul Heyman's going to be the guy that gets left out in the cold. Like that's the way I'm starting to feel. Like I have a feeling at a certain point, Roman's going to be like, you know what? Screw you, Paul. Like you were trying to screw me in Saudi Arabia. I ain't stupid. You were just going to leave with the winner. Your best interest is Paul Heyman. You don't give a damn about me, Paul. And so then 100. Paul's on the outs with the Roman, right? And so then he's got to go to Brock, and Brock's like, are you kidding me? No, we're not doing that again. And then what's Paul do? And I think that's the interesting part, right? Is Paul groveling to both Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar? What does Paul Heyman... SmackDown has become the Paul Heyman Show.
Absolutely. I mean, and where does Paul Heyman go after that? Because that's clearly where it's leading to. I mean, surely that's what's going to happen. There's no ifs or buts about it.
The Crown Jewel, that's where it has to go because Paul clearly throws the title in between the two of them. And Paul's intention is I'm leaving with the title. Regardless of who wins this match, I'm leaving with the title. And Roman even shot him that look, just like, what the fuck is your problem, dude? And we know Brock ain't going to take none of that, right?
Well,
we know that. It's Brock freaking Lesnar, right? I think Paul on the outs with everybody is the most interesting thing that could happen on SmackDown right now.
Yeah, but then where do you go with him after that? Like, what happens? You know what I mean? Like, we spoke about this last week where you bring in that Bordeaux kid. Maybe that's where he goes. I mean, why not go that way? I can so see that happening. You know what I mean? So unless he goes that way, I don't know what to do with him after that. Unless he's a consultant in the back and we just don't see him on television for a while. But in saying
clearly.
that, where does Brock Lesnar go now too? Being indefinitely suspended.
Well, I mean, it's Brock Lesnar. If Brock Lesnar shows up, you're going to tell him that he can't come in?
Right. But clearly, like, he's not signed to make any more appearances, hence why he's suspended indefinitely. So
again, it's Brock Lesnar. Like
right.
at a certain point, any given moment in time, Brock Lesnar can show up and just like beat everybody up and get into the building because
Absolutely.
it's Brock Lesnar, you know. Is that where they're going for WrestleMania? Like, because now I feel like Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania is a very real possibility. If Dwayne's not around, Brock and Roman is again.
Well, Jugger, maybe we're hoping too much for Dwayne to be around. Maybe all this time he was never going to be around. So I think we are probably going to go to a Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns match once again at WrestleMania.
I have always thought that if Dwayne's coming around, it's going to be in LA. It's not going to be in Dallas. You're still a year away from Dwayne showing up.
Well, the last time they were in Dallas and they did WrestleMania, he was there, wasn't he? So
yeah, but it's Hollywood. It's SoFi. You know what I mean? Like it. I don't think Dwayne's taking the Texas payday. No, I don't think so.
I'm starting to think the same thing, dude. I mean, I just don't see it happening. Not this time. It's true, dude. I agree 100%.
Let's talk a little bit of G1 final. I said this on Twitter. In a weird way, this entire thing is kind of a perfect metaphor for this year's G1 climax. You know what I mean? Like, so Kazuchika Okada and Kota Ibushi go out and they're having a hell of a match. Things are going really well. It's like a great freaking match. And Kota Ibushi, like the lunatic that he is, goes up to the top rope and he goes for the Phoenix Splash. Now, there's a lot of connotations when it comes to the Phoenix Splash that go to Kenny Omega and the Golden Lovers and the parallel paths that they both have been on and how neither one of them are nearly as good without the other one. There's all kinds of storylines going on here. And sure enough, the Phoenix Splash bites Kota Ibushi again. Except this time, it wasn't really supposed to go that way. Jimmy, the reports that I am hearing, we're looking at 3 months without Kota Ibushi, which seriously puts Wrestle Kingdom into serious question. So now we have Kota Ibushi on the shelf. We have Tetsuya Naito on the shelf. We have Shingo Takagi as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. We have Kazuchika Okada as a very disgruntled G1 climax winner. We have the person who's going to challenge him for the briefcase, Tama Tonga, who I love Tama Tonga, but this is the guy who's going to challenge Kazuchika Okada for the main event at Wrestle Kingdom, Tama Tonga. And now Okada is talking about how he is the IWGP heavyweight champion. Not the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, which immediately brings back fond memories of the version 4 and the Intercontinental Championship as well. Jimmy, there is so much absolute miserable horse shit going on in New Japan Pro Wrestling right now. I'm going to be sitting down with the vet. We're going to do a full episode of Destino on the G1 climax and kind of look at everybody and kind of grade them out. What did you think of the final, the way that this all went down? It's almost poetic. Like, you lose Tetsuya Naito the first night, you lose Kota Ibushi the last night. It's a mess, bro. It's a freaking mess. And in the meantime, we've got a bunch of main event talent in the United States that evidently are not going back to Japan anytime soon. Like, why is Jay White still in the United States?
Well, first
Going
of all,
insane with this. Like, I
yeah,
miss my Jay White.
me too, dude. Who's Jay White anymore? Like, it's like he's starting to be forgotten, if you know what I'm saying. But back to the G1. First of all, I just want to say you called it. Okada was the one that was going to win it. That's great. You saw that coming, so I'll give you kudos for that. Now, with Ibushi and the Phoenix Splash incident, you know, I was reading online
moves.
of all the moves.
All the moves.
It didn't look as bad at first,
Dude,
to me.
The
I know
only
he
thing
went
that
head
looked
first.
worse than that was Lance Archer's freaking moonsault on Dynamite. Shout out to Lance. I hope that you're feeling all right, buddy. Get a hold of me because that was nasty looking.
That definitely was nasty, and shout outs to Lance Hoyt because that was crazy in itself. But back to Kota Ibushi, dude. I was reading online that people are starting to think this is somehow a work. Believe it or not.
Oh no, you're insane. Kota Ibushi was in so much pain.
Right. And
Like,
people are
there's no way.
I don't know why people are saying that online, but it's crazy that people are even suggesting that. And lately, I know Kota Ibushi's always been kind of reckless. Let's be honest,
Oh, yeah.
Jago.
I mean,
He has,
he is
right?
the epitome of the backyard wrestler. Like if the
But
young
with
Bucks,
class.
if the Young Bucks had a four-way with the Hardy Boys, out would pop a Japanese Kota Ibushi. Like he is the epitome of self-trained backyard wrestler. Like reckless is absolutely a good adjective for Kota Ibushi, unquestionably, and that's one of the reasons that people like him so much.
Right. But lately though, he's been very clumsy, dude. Like, I mean, he's been doing some shit that's getting himself fucked up. If it's not COVID complications, it's in the ring. I don't know what's going on with Kota Ibushi right now, but man, hopefully he's better.
He has
It was a
broken
bad
heart, Jimmy. He has a broken heart.
Yes, right. Hey, well, let's be honest, right? Since Kenny's been out of the picture, has he truly been the same?
Has Kenny been the same?
Right.
Like
now,
both of them. Like, have you ever seen like the anime Your Name?
No, I haven't. But
Okay, so you've got like this boy and this girl, and they're falling in love, right? And the whole problem is they exist in completely different dimensions, and the only way they can see each
Really?
other is when the light like perfectly lines up,
wow,
and they get like just this like fleeting glimpse, right?
that's pretty cool, man.
It's really, really cool, but I
should
very
look
much
into
feel
it.
like it's Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega at this point.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like they're star-crossed lovers that exist in completely different dimensions, and they just can't stop thinking about one another. That's where we're at with this story. Like both of them.
Fucking crazy.
It-
That's
it
crazy.
really is.
Like when you think about it, but are they self-aware of this shit? Do you think? Like, are they purposely trying to build a little story between themselves that nobody else knows?
I mean, I've felt that way for years.
I know you have.
Years at this point.
Absolutely. So that's why I'm not sure what to think. Like, is this all done for a reason? Is there a point where we're going to get the Golden Lovers back together again, which I'm sure will happen eventually? But man, Kota, man, he needs to change something. He needs to settle down, man, because like you said, it's crazy that you even said he's like a backyard wrestler in many ways, right? Think about that,
Is.
right? But now that when you said that, it's true. Like he really is, except I look at him like a classy version, right? I don't know what you do with Kota Ibushi right now. In one way, it was a blessing in disguise for Okada. I think that happened like that in many ways, because people would have been fuming either way. If Kota won, people would have been cursing. Let's be honest, right? With Okada winning, people understand why Okada won, but even that, people aren't happy. And right now, a lot of fans are not happy with New Japan Pro Wrestling, dude.
Well, I understand that. I completely but I feel like these are two completely separate issues.
Right.
And this is actually one of the things that has been driving me absolutely insane. American fans expecting New Japan Pro Wrestling to cater to their freaking needs. Like I saw somebody make the comment that the G1 final should have been Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jeff Cobb. Now, I love that match. I want to see that match. That's not a G1 final match. It's not, because the Japanese business model, they still have to put asses in seats, and the Japanese people going to the show aren't going to pay to see Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jeff Cobb.
100% agree.
They're not going to do it.
And that's what the Western fans don't understand. It's not about us. They're thinking money-wise, right? And the Japanese know the difference between a big megastar in their eyes and someone that's not quite ready yet. You don't put two guys that the Japanese fan base don't look at like that they're on the top of the card just yet, right? That's a big mistake. Sure, one of them can be in the final up against an Okada or whoever, right? But you can't have two of them in the final. It just
Right.
talk about anticlimax, pun intended. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't work.
The other thing I don't get is, I'm so sick of Okada.
Oh,
What the hell is wrong with you people? Number one, he was champion for 720 days. It was a historic championship reign, right? One of the most historic championship reigns of all championship reigns throughout all of pro wrestling history. The contenders that he was putting down during his 720-day reign as the king of pro wrestling. He loses the title, does not get a rematch, and he goes roughly 18 months before he challenges for the title again. He loses that match. Now we're talking 6 months later. So you're a full 2 years since he lost the championship off of a historic reign. And you're pissed off that he's worked his way back into the main event? Really? Like, how long does he need to be out of the main event for you to be okay with this? Like, I understand, like, it was a long championship reign, and the Okada character, very much like the Nick Aldis character, very much like the Ric Flair character, very much like Jay White, they play champion well. They're at their best when they have a belt around their waist. The character works the best that way. Why should Okada not be in the main event? It's Wrestle freaking Kingdom. He's the biggest star in the cup. He's the face of he carried the Olympic torch.
Absolutely, he did. That's true. You know, I think people are frustrated, dude. I can understand where the fans are coming from. I'm not one of those people that think, oh, Okada, you know, he's winning again. He's going to win the title or whatnot, right? That's not me. But I understand where they're coming from because, as dumb as it sounds, sure, it's been 2 years since he's had his last run, but it kind of feels like it wasn't 2 years ago, though. Does that make any sense?
It's because it's Okada, because you still view him as the top guy.
Exactly.
Because he's Okada.
Exactly. And there's your answer. Because he's friggin' Okada, dude.
I mean, how dare he go out there and have a great match with Yoshihashi in the fucking main event of a fucking Korakuen show?
Yoshihashi.
Because he's freaking Okada. Like, how many bad matches have you ever seen Kazuchika Okada have?
Never really.
Even like a bad match for Okada, you're talking like 3.5 stars. You're let down by a 3.5 star match out of Kazuchika Okada, and he'll get it out of freaking Yujiro Takahashi.
Look, I think no, I agree. I think it's more got to do with the same old, right? And
that's what New Japan needs right now, because New Japan right now, for the last really since they came back from the pandemic, right? It's been freaking chaos, man.
It really has, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
You know what this company needs? It needs the belt on Okada. It needs Okada to hold that belt for 3 freaking years and just be, you know, that sign of consistency, the standard that is New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah, you know, the undercard might not be that good, but you're going to get a 5-star main event. You know why? Because Okada's got the belt. You know what I mean? Like, that's what New Japan needs right now.
They truly do, because a lot of their big stars are trapped in the States right now. They're in limbo. You know what I mean? And then you've got, unfortunately, Tagaki, we got Shingo, right? I mean,
I love Shingo, but he ain't over.
He's just not. No one gives a shit, bro. Not the Japanese fans, not the Western fans, really. Just seems like no one gives a shit.
G1 since like
ever.
well, like since I really got into New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like this was the like nobody was talking about it.
No one. It's
Nobody
true,
was
dude.
watching the shows. Like,
It's
nobody
true.
cared.
No one gave a shit. Who was talking about it really online, bro? Nobody.
Nobody.
Up until now, up until what happened with the final, people are
Up
starting to
until
talk again.
disaster strikes.
Right, absolutely. But it's true, man. No one gives a flying fuck right now about New Japan or the G1, and which is sad. You know what I mean? It really is sad. Look, I don't think it's the fault of Gato or Jado. You know what I mean? It's just
Well, no, because
their hands are tied right now, dude.
if you actually watch the tournament, the matches were good.
Right.
The matches were really good. Like Okada's going out there having Okada matches.
Dude.
Tama Tonga's going out there and just burning the freaking house down all of a sudden. Like he thinks he's Seth Rollins. You know what I mean? Zack Sabre Jr. out there going on, just putting on a freaking clinic. It's absolutely insane.
When you talk about all that, though, it was a pretty good G1 up until the end.
It was a good G1, and everybody just kind of shat on it.
It's true, dude. Unfortunately, the wheels really fell off towards the end of the tournament, man, and it fell off in a bad way. And I hope, because New Japan lately have been getting a lot of slack, dude. The last few your last 6 months, they've been getting a lot of slack, dude. Let's be real, you know what I mean? I just hope they recover from this. The pandemic has really hit them badly. On top of that, the injuries their wrestlers have been getting as well. Hasn't been great. I just hope, I don't know what direction they're going. They're clearly going the Okada direction. But as you said, I think we need to go that way because Okada is on a whole different level when you look at the current roster right now competing in Japan.
And part of the problem is they're running so many shows.
That too.
That's part of the problem because when you're only getting like a third of a capacity inside of these arenas, they're trying to run 3 times as many shows. And so now the answer to all of their injury problems and this bug that's going through, I mean, some of these guys are being held together by freaking duct tape at this point. Literally. The answer to this problem, we're going to run 2 more tournaments and we're going to run them simultaneously.
See,
so now we have Best of Super Juniors coming up and we have World Tag League coming up at the same time. So it's basically like Monday, Best of Super Juniors, Tuesday, World Tag League, Wednesday, Best of Super Juniors, Thursday, World Tag League. And I'm just like, dude, I can't watch all these shows.
Well, that makes 2 of us. And what I don't understand, why can't they just accept it? Like I'm talking about New Japan here. Why can't they just accept that this is the wrong time to be doing this shit and just tone it back a little bit, man?
Because that's how they make their money is off the live gate. That's the problem. And when you're only running a third capacity, you're only making a third of the revenue.
Hence why more shows, right?
And so they run more shows and then you overwork the talent and then the talent gets hurt. And that's very much starting to take its toll on this roster.
So what do you do in a situation like this then, Jago? I mean, surely the morale in the back right now can't be that great.
It's got to be
surely.
shit. And the thing is, the thing that sucks about all of it is the booking is good. The matches are good. The stories that they are telling are good. And it's just a shit situation. You know what I mean? It's like you come home from work and you're just pissed off at the world and there's nothing you can do about it. And the wife is like, why are you so mad at me? And it's like, I'm not mad at you. I'm pissed off at the fucking world right now.
Yeah.
And it's like the world is pissed off at New Japan Pro Wrestling and they can't do anything right. Every time they try to do something right, something else falls apart.
Fuck,
you know what I mean? And it's just, they can't win. They can't. They need a win right now.
Big time, bro. And I don't know what that is. And I don't know if they've got anything up their sleeve. But if I was New Japan right now, I'll be banging on AEW's friggin' door big time, bro. I'll be kicking that door in right now because I think if there was a time to let out a bat symbol, you know what I mean? But think of the bat logo as AEW, it's friggin' now, dude. You know what I'm saying? they need AEW's hand right now, in my opinion. Maybe it's a bit controversial, but I think they really do, man.
They made another decision this week that I'm really kind of like, why? And it was a great promo. Jay White has thrown down the gauntlet to Tomohiro Ishii in a fantastic promo that nobody saw. Jimmy T, he wants Tommy Tomohiro to come to the United States, because for what we really need to do is get, more good Japanese talent out of the country. So Ishii is going to come to the States and challenge Jay White for the Never Openweight Championship. And the stipulation is, if Ishii does not win, he can never, get the play on words, never challenge for the Never Openweight Championship ever again. That's the stipulation that Jay White has thrown down to Tomohiro. The promo was great, but unfortunately, I don't think anybody saw it. And I feel like this is a bad idea.
Can I ask you something before I talk about that part? So let me get this straight. The Japanese wrestlers are able to come into the States, right?
Yeah.
But once they're in the States, they can't go back to Japan. I mean, how does that work?
I don't know. That's what
I'm confused, bro. I'm confused. You know what I mean?
Not the only one, man.
So once they leave, that's it. They can't come back. Like, I don't understand. But
well, like the ones that are bothering me right now is like Finjuice. You mean to tell me Finjuice can't get into we're gonna run World Tag League and Finjuice ain't even gonna be a part of it? Really? That's like the only time I want to see Finjuice.
I don't understand, bro. Like, I need to look into Japanese what's going on with the COVID protocols over there. Because it seems like it's one way, like you're stuck in, or there's one way out and you're out. You know what I'm saying? Including their citizens. So I'm a little confused on that. If that's the case, maybe New Japan should just bring all their fucking roster and all this shit maybe into the States and just run shows from there at the moment. Is that possible?
And yet, as we say all of this, there's one talent who managed to find his way into Japan. Now, granted, he is Japanese, and granted, he is a Japanese citizen, but, he runs the LA Dojo. Jimmy, we got to see a 5-minute UWF-style match between Zack Sabre Jr. and Kazutori Shibata, and this is the first time that I have heard an audible gasp from the clap crowds. Shibata's music hit, and people were like, what? Shibata? Really? What? And him and Zach go out there and they put on a wrestling clinic. Shibata's not coming back. Shibata can't wrestle. I was very uncomfortable watching this. Where are you at? Like, did you enjoy this? Were you holding your breath? Like, how do you feel about this?
Well, first of all, if you've noticed lately with Shibata, he's kind of been getting the itch, dude. He's been inserting himself.
He's got the itch, but he cannot wrestle. He cannot wrestle. Like this like UWF style, like I'm down with that. But the first time somebody hits him in the head, I'm gonna be holding my breath.
Well, look at
part of his skull removed.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That's fucking crazy, man.
He cannot wrestle.
Yeah, that's nuts. When you look at it like that, that's fucking nuts. But I did enjoy the match just quietly. I thought it was great. But I've got a bad feeling that he's gonna make a comeback, dude. He's been doing too much shit lately that I just don't see any other way. Like I see him making a comeback. I don't know how that's gonna work if it does happen. But the dude wants to wrestle, man. And you know how Japanese wrestlers are. They don't give a shit, bro. They're willing to die in that damn ring.
I know. That's what worries me.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but if he's not careful, like you said, they took a piece of his skull out. That's fucking nuts.
Right?
This guy is either dumb or he's got balls of steel. I don't know what the fuck it is, or both, right?
Or both.
I mean, I love Katsuyori Shibata, man. I've always been a fan of his. But, man, ever since he got that injury, bro, he's never looked the same to me, like physically.
Mhm.
He looks different, dude. It's not the same Shibata. And that's what really worries me, man. But, look, that's on him. That's up to him. If shit happens, maybe he dies a happy man in that middle of the squared circle. I hate to say that, but it is what it is, right? I mean, do you see him coming back? Because it seems like something's happening, dude.
Can't do it. Can't do it. I enjoy these exhibitions. I enjoy
Right.
this. Because Zach ain't going to go out there and punch him in the head.
Absolutely
Like,
right.
Zach,
He's the perfect
Zach knows
opponent.
what this is, and Zach's good enough that he can go out there, he can work with Shibata, he can make Shibata look great and be so incredibly safe with Shibata that, like, I trust Zach in that style position.
Then what about that little Bullet Club incident with Shibata as well? I mean, what happens with that?
I don't know. Because
You see what I
feel
mean?
like, I feel like you have to address it, and Kenta is the kind of person that's going to kick him in the fucking head.
I don't want to
I mean,
laugh, but
like-
that's true, right? It's true, but then why do that if we're not going to get anything? That's why I'm starting to think.
Can't do
I
it.
hate to say it, bro, but maybe.
I don't think I could watch it. I had a hard time watching this thing with Zach. I mean, I remember the sound that Shibata's skull made when it contacted with Okada's, and it was one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard in my life. I mean, I can't do it. I can't. He's almost into Chris Benoit territory for me, to where I can't. I cannot watch a Benoit match. I cannot do it. And I'm coming to the realization I'm right there with Shibata too.
Shit, that's a big call, bro. But I feel you. I totally understand where you're coming from because it's just silly. Like, he does look physically different. I have to say it. I'll say it again. He looks physically different. I don't know if it's because of that injury, but clearly it is. He's not the same Shibata. I get it. He wants to do something. But, man, for your own sake, is he got a family? Do you know? Is he married?
I have no idea.
See, that's the thing. They're good at hiding their personal stuff, right? They're very good at doing that. If he's got a family, he should fucking think about his family, man, because
I literally know nothing about Shibata.
it's true.
Other than he runs the LA dojo, and
Right.
he used to be a really good professional wrestler. Like, that's pretty much all that there is to know about Shibata.
It's crazy, man, because I don't know shit about him either. Like, when you think about it, right? So, man, I don't know. Look, if it's his decision and he's really wanting to do it, if shit happens in the ring, man, I mean, I don't know what to say, man, but I guess he'd be happy, I think, right? I mean, geez, man, he loves his business. He wants to do what he loves doing, man, and I get it, I understand, but man, he's asking for it. I hate to say it, man.
Speaking of asking for it, that's a great segue into our next topic. Bound for Glory went down last night. And so they get Christian handed to him on a silver platter. Kenny Omega drops the Impact Championship to him. Send you kind of a legacy Impact Wrestling star. Didn't hear anything about what was going on with Christian and Impact Wrestling. You know, people thought that, you know, like, I would have thought that Kenny Omega would have raised their profile a little bit. And it's like, well, you know, since Kenny lost that belt, ain't nobody talking about him.
Nobody.
He clearly did raise their profile, and we just didn't notice, because now
Exactly.
nobody's talking about him.
Nobody. So to all the haters out there, they'll say Kenny didn't move the needle. Get the fuck out of here.
He moved it. It just went only about that far. If you're watching the video, about that far.
Doesn't matter. He still
But
moved it. That's
still
what
went that
matters.
far.
Right. Exactly. He still moved it, dude. So this Impact crap, whatever you want to call it right now. Oh, look, it wasn't a bad show. Let me get that straight. But we had Josh Alexander beating Christian, right?
And I was excited about that. Because, I mean, if anybody to me is like Mr. Impact right now, if I'm going to tune in to Impact to watch anybody, it's Josh Alexander. I think he's fantastic.
I agree. But then we have Moose cashing in his wannabe Money in the Bank.
And if there's anybody that I don't want to watch on Impact Wrestling, I'm
It's
sorry,
Moose.
it's Moose. He is
And I
just
totally understand
he's
that.
so tired to me.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. He needs to go to another company, first of all. But no one's going to get him. This is what people don't understand. I don't know if people realize his history, right? I mean, do you know his history, right?
WWE had the chance to sign Moose in past. That's all that you need to know.
Right, but do people know why nobody wants to really pick him up? That's the thing. People are all screaming, he should be in WWE, he should be in AEW. Why isn't anyone picking him up? Well, look into it, people.
There's reasons for that.
There's reasons for that. And this is exactly why no one's picking him up. And he's going to be an Impact guy for life. I hate to say it, but it is what it is, right?
But that means that he has to evolve inside of Impact.
Right.
This is the same Moose that I was watching in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, except for the song, right? When he used to come out, Moose.
And the song was over.
It was.
It was. They liked doing the Moose thing. Nope, got rid of that.
Yeah, well, hey, man, I prefer him in Ring of Honor. Put it that way. I prefer the Moose from Ring of Honor than this Impact version easily, right? But in saying that, why did they have to do that? They should have let Josh Alexander have his fucking day and let him fucking pass the ball to him and let him run with it. This reminds me of Yokozuna, Bret Hart, circa 93, bro. That's what it reminds me of back in WrestleMania 9. You know, with Hogan, Yokozuna, and Bret Hart.
Hey, don't be surprised if Hulk Hogan comes out of the back and pins Moose. Like, that would not surprise me at this point.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. Broken back and all, bro. Brother. No, I wouldn't, actually. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't. But it's true, man. Like, as many steps forward as Impact took, they took 10 steps back with Moose friggin' cashing in, man. So, I mean, this is the company that just won't die. I want it to die, man. I really do. I'm just so sick of this company right now. Just get away from me. I can't stand it anymore with their stupid decisions sometimes, man. Sometimes I wonder, do they want this company to succeed? I don't fucking know anymore, bro.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And yet
it really is.
Those Impact supporters. And I mean, we'll hear from all 12 of them. A-Track Brown is
track. Exactly.
A-Track Brown is friends with every single person that watches Impact Wrestling. I firmly believe this.
Oh man, I found it funny.
I believe that he was trying to tell me one day that it was trending. He's like, just go up to the search bar and type this in.
Oh my god, dude!
And so I did, and I go to the post, right, and it shows me all the people that are talking about Impact, and you know what it said? Is friends with A-Track Brown. Is friends.
Oh no!
Is friends with it. He is literally friends with legitimately every single person. All 12.
Oh man,
that one.
You make me laugh, bro. I found it ironic that we both mentioned his name right at the same time, man. So shout out to A-Track Brown. We love you, bro, but come on, man.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, man.
Let's talk about this word that I haven't learned how to say yet.
What's that?
Tezcatlipoca. Tezcatlipoca. You know what Tezcatlipoca is, Jimmy?
I've got an idea, but I don't know what exactly it is, though.
It is the Aztec god of death.
Okay, cool. I think it sounds better just saying it in English, bro.
I'll work on it. But so this is what I'm going with, right? I love this. I love this. I was talking with our friend Chris. Shout out to Chris last night on the Rampage show, and I kind of came up with this idea. I love the idea of Malachi Black and Andrade together. Because
why?
Because when you look back into like Aztec and Mayan mythology,
right,
there is some crazy, dark, voodoo, creepy kind of stuff going on there. Andrade cannot cut a promo in English to save his freaking life.
True.
I like this pairing. I think these two guys could do some really cool stuff, pulling from that Mexican heritage mixed with the House of Black. I like this, man. I think this could work. I think this could actually be really, really good for both of these guys. And people just seem like they're shitting on it left and right.
Well, look,
I think this could be cool.
I'll be honest, Jago. the cat's not out of the bag just yet for me. I have to see where this goes first before I give you a definite answer. Because at first glance, I see what you're saying, but like at first glance to me, like why are these two together? Like why? Like I mean, with Andrade, they've been all over the place, dude. 1 second the Lucha Brothers, and then next thing you know, it Pac, whatever you want to call him, and now you got Alistair Black, Malachi Black, whatever his name is. Like, where are we going? What's the end game though with this? Are they going to be tag champs?
No, I think they start a faction. I think they
Does that include the Lucha Brothers?
Ideally.
Ideally, right? Because if you're going to have a dark
Ideally.
faction, it only makes sense to have them involved. Then we can have Penta Black again or something, right?
I mean,
dark.
Yeah, Pentagon Dark. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. I mean, like, I think of all the cool shit that they did inside of Lucha Underground, like built around like the ancient Aztec.
Right. Absolutely.
And then you add Malachi Black and his methods of storytelling and the occult and everything that they're into, and you start looking into like that darker side of that culture. I think there's some really cool stuff that they could do here. Some really cool, dark, deep kind of shit.
I hope so, dude. I hope so, but I just don't know yet. You know what I mean?
You know what the missing part of the equation is?
What's that?
Mrs. Malachi Black. She would make the whole thing together, wouldn't she?
Oh, see, that makes sense, right? Totally. Because, you know, she was Andrade's manager. You got Malachi Black. Unfortunately for her, though, she has already signed a multi-year contract with WWE.
Do we know how long this contract is?
I could have sworn it was like a 3 to 4 year deal, dude. That's what I remember reading. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's something along those lines, man. I'll look into that, though.
Because, I mean, like, not to go too Wyatt family here, because there's clearly a lot of comparisons that you could draw, but
right.
You could do something like a Sister Abigail figure.
Definitely.
You could have some kind of female that's pulling the strings, and they just refer to her over the course of however long this contract is, and just let people piece together the fucking dots, right? I mean,
right.
Andrade's former manager, Mrs. Black, like, okay, clearly we see where you two guys like hung out and became friends. Like,
yeah,
this
absolutely
checks out. This makes sense.
If you have her involved, hell yeah, I'm down for it, man. Because it makes
even if
total
she's
sense.
not involved, but you
have her
portray that
right,
she is.
right, and call her Mrs. Black. I think that would be perfect.
Mrs. Black, there you go.
Mrs. Black in the background, playing with the strings, bro. The puppet master of these guys. Only if she's got a short-term deal with WWE, that would work. If she's got a long-term deal, though, like how long can you do this thing? Right. Right. That's the problem, man. And I think it makes total sense because I know you can't call Pentagon anymore, right? Because of Lucha Underground, right? So you can't call him Pentagon Dark, but you can call him Pentagon Black, right?
Right.
And it makes total sense to call him Pentagon Black. So,
ooh, and I like the Black Phoenix.
Hell yeah, bro. That is fucking awesome, dude. Black Phoenix, Penta Black, Mr. Black, Mrs. Black, and Andrade.
The Black Mask.
The Black Mask, La Sombra. You know what I'm saying?
Like, there's so much cool shit they could do here, man.
When you put it like that, it's cool. See, we made it cool, bro. Like, just coming up with that plot and putting everyone, it makes total fucking sense. When you put it like that, dude, it makes total sense. And it brings a smile to my face thinking about it. But you have to have all those pieces fall into place. I'm hoping it's a short-term deal with Zelina Vega. If it is, write it out for a year if you can, somehow. But I'm just not sure. The only way for her to get out of her contract is cause a big stink up, dude, and start talking union again. I'm sure that'll get her out of her contract.
Man, now I'm sitting over here and I'm like, pro wrestling fascinating.
Right.
What this House of Black could look like a year from now. And let's just say for the sake of argument that somehow Zelina Vega would get out of her contract. So you've got Zelina Vega as kind of the puppet master, right?
Right.
And then you've got Aleister Black, and you've got Andrade, you've got Pentagon Black, you've got the Black Phoenix.
The
You
Black
could have-
Phoenix is so cool, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
You could have the Black Dragon. You could have La Bestia del Ring, and you could have Roosh,
Oof.
all inside of this. That's a fucking scary faction, bro.
Not just a scary faction, but a faction full of attitude, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Yeah, just take the best of the Malachi Black evil and darkness gimmick and combine it with Ingobernal.
It would work, bro. It would fucking work. Especially if they come out with their masks as
Black
well.
suits and shit.
Oh, fuck yeah, bro. Man, that would so work. Heck, even if you have Tetsuya Naito turn up in AEW and he's part of that fucking crew too, just, while he's in AEW, fuck yeah, bro.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, it works.
Now I'm
You know what I'm saying?
imagining the tag team in my brain of the Black Dragon and the Black Phoenix.
Shit. That's money, bro.
Fuck, man.
It's money. It's pesos, bro. It's
Oh
pesos.
yeah, it'd be like it would be like in the bull ring in Tijuana. People be like throwing money at the ring and shit. I mean,
Coins though, coins.
Rain money. It'd be like Okada was in the fucking ring. Is the rain man. Fucking Bruce should be all about that shit, man. Somehow that match has got to happen. Somehow I got to get Kazuchika Okada versus Roosh. Like that's a dream match that somehow has to happen. And everybody that just watches American wrestling is just like, huh?
Dude, think about it too. I mean, Aleister Black comes out with a suit as well lately, right? I mean, he's wearing the suit, he's wearing the slacks. It's if this is where they're going, bro, then fucking I'll give Tony Khan some fucking credit, bro. That is what you call great storytelling. If that's where we're going, right?
And there's only one man that can take him down. You know who that man is?
Who's that?
He's a bastard. Just think of all the singles matches that you could get Pac in.
Oh, that would be off the hook, dude.
And with Andrade as like, the final boss.
But as La Sombra, I'd love to see him as La Sombra.
So he thinks that Andrade is the final boss.
So then who's the final boss?
And then in comes Roosh.
Oh,
like that's how you debut Roosh.
Oh shit!
Bullhorn mask and shit.
In the black suit as well.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh man, that's great fantasy booking. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Because the thing is, man, now you've given me hope, right? Again, and I hate having hope, Jargo. I hate having hope, especially in the world of professional wrestling. I don't like it because it always lets me down, bro. But man, it's so easy to fucking do this shit, man. Come on, TK. If you ever hear us, please do something like this, man.
Adventure, excitement. A Jedi crave not these things. And that's going to wrap things up for this week's show. Thanks for watching and or listening. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Then drop us one of those 5 stars. Help us out in the algos. You can find The Blow Off at theblowoff.com, at blowoffpod. Also over at markmedia.com. And of course, as part of the Hameen Media Group at channelattitude.com. You can keep up with me across social media platforms at NotJargo, MichaelJargo.com, Jimmy T of the PWC, the COVID KID. How do the peeps, the freaks, and the Greeks keep up with you?
Well, first of all, man, it's been a little slow at the PWC lately because I've been crook, man. I just haven't had the energy to be doing a lot of shows lately. It's been tough, bro, with this COVID crap. 1 minute you think you're better, than the next minute you're not. It's kind of weird. But things are going to get rolling once again tonight, man, with the skirmish. So we'll be back as of tonight. And you can find me on Twitter at PWC or at DJ Mass Effects. So that's about it, man.
Fantastic. We will talk to you next week. We will be back on Saturday with Dynamite moving back to Wednesday this week. Thank you for putting up with a little bit of the schedule change. Of course, as soon as we launch the show, then AEW's got to go and screw everything around. If you have topics for the show, hit us at theblowoffpod@gmail.com. Until then, we will talk to you next week. For now, we are off like a prom dress. See ya.
Peace.